If your kids are like mine and they're already circling or have been for months now, every toy in the catalogs that are coming in the mail for holidays, or your house feels like it might collapse under the weight of plastic everything. You're not alone. But what if this year the holidays became less about more stuff and more about meaning and connection? And helping our kids grow into thoughtful, generous humans. Today, we're going to talk about conscious gift giving. And I know we're already halfway into December, but it's never too late to talk about conscious gift giving, to be more considerate about what we're purchasing, not just for the holidays, but for all of our purchases, for gifts, and just for life in general. How do we choose gifts that are more meaningful, sustainable, and actually support the values we're trying to build in our families? And how do we impart that onto our children? And do that without adding more overwhelm to our already full lives. And as always, this isn't about being perfect. It's about pausing long enough to choose gifts that last, gifts that matter, and gifts that help our kids grow on the inside. In conscious parenting and in the Jai Institute framework, we talk a lot about modeling values rather than forcing them on our children or on our family. So, the way that we choose our gifts is one way that we can teach our kids about our family values: thoughtfulness, long term thinking, care for the environment, empathy, connection, and slowing down in a world that pushes constant consumption. We have research that shows children actually become more generous gift givers if they're included in the act of giving. Well, many of us already know that. We do the giving tree, right? You take your kids out, you pick out the present for whatever tag that you have, and they're able to support in that. Well, you can extend that more to other members of the family and allow them to participate in that gift giving, help to choose meaningful gifts or to make meaningful gifts for all of the members of the family that they're gifting. So the goal isn't to stop giving gifts. We love giving gifts. It's enjoyable. It's a wonderful thing to do. And helping your child to be a part of that gift giving rather than just wrapped up in the receiving of the gifts. It's to choose gifts that grow our kids on the inside. What I'm teaching my own children about shopping, and I'm doing that right now with my oldest, as we have each one of the kids purchase the other kid a gift. So this year, my co-parent has my youngest, and he is helping him shop for something for his older brother, and I have my oldest, and I'm helping him shop for something for his younger brother. And we were doing that last night. And of course, we're kind of looking online and we're getting a list together of things that he might like. And my oldest is now 11, so he's kind of getting to that point where he's realizing a lot of these toys, one, they look a lot cooler than they actually are. He's realizing that a lot of them break really quickly, or they look like they're going to be fun, but the fun doesn't really last. They're just fun for a little bit, and then they get kind of old, or they break, or we lose interest in them fairly quickly. And so we're talking about what it means to be a conscious shopper. And I've given him three really simple questions to ask himself when he's shopping for his brother. Number one, what's the environmental impact? And in that, will it last? Where is it going to end up? And how soon is it going to end up there? Number two is longevity, and that kind of ties into that. Is this something that he'll still enjoy months from now? Or is it going to get tossed aside, after Christmas, the day after Christmas, or is it going to break right away? And number three is meaning. Does this gift support creativity? Does it support connection, curiosity, or kindness? These questions allow him to be more thoughtful And they transform the gift shopping from no, you don't need to buy that, it's going to break, to having him actually be able to think about it, and it becomes a value-based conversation about our values and what we value and how to shop based on that. And you can really use this at any age. I know you're busy. We're all so busy in life these days. We don't have time to knit a blanket. We don't have time to make those handmade elaborate gifts. I guess some of us magically have that capability to make amazing handmade gifts. I'm not one of those people. As far as my kids go, when we have them making gifts, in the past, we've done pretty simple things that are fun, making magic wands for the grandparents or the aunts. And it's as simple as going out and collecting twigs that are about the size of a wand, wrapping them in beautiful pieces of yarn or string, attaching bells to them, attaching feathers to them. We did that a couple years ago. My sister still has her magic wands on her wine cabinet. So some of them, the adults actually really will like, and they can be really beautiful and fun. Other meaningful and creative gifts that are not so time consuming are having the kids paint on ornaments, having kids decorate picture frames. I have bought in plain picture frames and had the kids glue on stones and jewels and decorate them, and then put a picture of the kids and give them to the grandparents, things like that. Handmade cards, paintings. I don't think most family members are going to really expect a lot from kids, but it gives your child the opportunity to create something and have a little pride in something they're making. In our house on Christmas Eve, we have the kids give out their gifts so that they get the real experience of gifting without it getting lost in the commotion of Christmas Day. So on Christmas Eve, they give each other their gifts, they give the grandparents that are there their gifts, and their parents. So it's kind of a nice opportunity for them to really soak in how it feels to give a gift. And if you're not wanting to make gifts, I totally get it. We are all short on time. Some other meaningful and low stress gifts that I really like are board games and cooperative games. And they build connection and teamwork, and they bring the family together. That's always a plus. At our home, we love Legos. Legos are incredible. We homeschool. It's a good way to follow instruction, to bring in focus, and to work together. My 5-year-old and I, we usually do them together, taking turns. My oldest will sit for hours and do Legos. And then you play with it for a while, and then it goes into the Lego bag, or some people like to keep them. But they are long lasting, they're rebuildable, and they're an open play toy, which is amazing. I live in a tiny house. A lot of you already know that. I don't have a lot of space. This year in my home, I am putting focus on gifting experiences. And a lot of that is going to be gift cards. Not always my favorite, but it's the experience behind the card. So getting passes to bouncy houses or the trampoline parks, or we have a little small arcade in town, trying to spend money on things that are local in our small town. Both of my kids really love books and to read, so we're going to give them some gift cards to the bookstore. And maybe even a restaurant, just things that if they decide they want to do it and my budget's tight, they have a gift card. We can go to the bookstore, and instead of me telling them, no, we're not going to get books this time, or, you can only get one thing, they're going to have their gift card, and they're going to be able to go in there and have the agency to pick out whatever they like, which I think that they will really, really enjoy. But other things, passes to the zoo or the aquarium, things of that nature are really fun. They create a family experience that is going to be lasting. You can do classes, you can do crafting kits, subscriptions, little cooking dates, all types of things like that. You could even every year on winter solstice, I give the kids a couple of books. We have a fire outside if it's not dumping rain. And that's another way you can connect. Doing good things. If you haven't heard of that, it is a website, and that is a place where you can go, and they have a list of 50 ideas for gift giving. I'll put that in the description below, but it's just another nice resource that gives you ideas of how you can connect with your family, how you can volunteer, gifts that you can give that are really meaningful, and a great resource for things like that. So, really, just to wrap it all up, being a conscientious shopper and a thoughtful gift giver isn't a difficult thing. It's not always what we usually do. We get a little bit bombarded with sales, with this desire. I know it's fun to give our kids stuff. I've definitely been caught up in that trap. Every year, I always think, oh, this year I'm going to do less. And then we get to Christmas Day, and I'm like, good heavens, these kids have way too much stuff. So this year, I haven't really purchased anything yet. I'm just going gift cards and a few little things. So I'm sticking with it this year, but creating simple traditions that can cultivate that love of giving. The kid's dad loves to make cookies, so they make cookies together and they give them to the neighbors, they bring them to the teachers and things like that. Uh, Creating traditions that are around giving and kindness, maybe having your kids create handmade cards for the neighbors, and they can learn the joy of giving thoughtful gifts to the people around them and see how much they really love that. And we can be conscientious shoppers by being a little bit more thoughtful about what we're purchasing for the kids, toys that have open-ended play or longevity or experiences, board games, books, and things like that, and not just a lot of cheap plastic that's going to be broken and end up in the landfill. And we're not being perfect. We're just trying. We're putting a little bit new, renewed spirit and effort into that this year. It doesn't have to be every single thing. It just has to be that knowledge and that awareness and little steps in the right direction and supporting your kid and enjoying gift giving with compassion and love and excitement and thoughtfulness. And asking, does this gift reflect our values? That is a really strong and important question to ask yourself this year. Maybe not with all gifts, but maybe you're choosing a few gifts and you're really asking yourself, is this gift reflecting of our family values? Asking your child that when they're shopping, it's going to be a fun new way to shop, and it's going to engage your child in the process and help them uh, to get more knowledge of your family values, which is always a win. So, if this helped you to think about the holidays in a more grounded and meaningful way, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Or if you have a tradition of something that you do in your family that reflects that and you'd love to share it with people, I would love to see it. I'm always open to new ways to connect more in the holidays with the real spirit of giving and family connection. So please share any comments of things that you like to do in your family or traditions you have. I'd love to see them. So thanks for being here. I'm Julie. This is the Rewired Parent, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.